I'm going to do an oil change on the Evo today, and it brings up the interesting question, why do people put the wrong oil in? Now, last time I changed the oil in the Evo, I put in the Harley Davidson synthetic oil to see how it would go, see what would happen, because I already had it in the cupboard. And what I found was, after I'd go for a ride, there would be a couple of drops coming out from the bottom. So I assume that is because the synthetic oil is a little bit thinner, the engine heats up, the tolerances get less, and as it cools down it leaves a little bit of a gap somewhere and I get a couple of drops. So I'm going to go back to the mineral oil. But oil is a controversial subject, because if I say, or no, maybe nobody cares what I say, but if somebody says, yeah, I use the Harley Davidson motor oil, someone's going to chime in and say, no, that is crap, you've got to use, I don't know, whatever, mobile oil, Amsol oil, whatever, you know, and it creates a huge debate. The big question is there that much difference in oil? Put in the comments if you know. Now, I know some of you are watching from the United States and you're going to list some brands that aren't that readily available here in Australia. My philosophy is I'm not quite sure they're that different. So I would be personally using what is readily available. If it's not readily available, it's just going to be a pain in the ass to get. Today I'm going to put in the Harley Davidson mineral oil. The question is it any good? Now, people get their oil wrong all the time, and that's what we're going to discuss a little bit later on. It's time for breakfast. Check this out. I've got some mackerel, which is deep sea fish, high in omega-3 fatty acids and high in protein. I've got some cottage cheese, which has got some omega-3 fatty acids and it's high in protein. And I've got some pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, which are baby pumpkin seeds, high in zinc and a whole lot of other nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids. But the pepitas are fantastic for all you guys out there that are getting older, not old, older, because it's really good for your prostate. It's a natural anti-inflammatory, a natural fight against prostate cancer. Now, a lot of people think it's weird eating pepitas. I've been eating them since I was pretty young. I think I got the habit off my dad. Just grab a handful or two, put heaps of good quality salt on it and pop them down, or throw them in food like I've done now. Now, this is a really healthy breakfast. I've got to compensate for all of the crap food I've eaten in the early stages of my life. When I was a teenager, I used to watch the Iron Man ads. They looked super fit and somebody to emulate. They would have 12 wheat bix for breakfast, or so they said in the ad. It would be interesting to know what they really did. But I would say, don't you worry, I'll be catching up to you, if not beating you soon. So I would have 14 wheat bix for breakfast. That's just horrible and unhealthy, especially seeing as I used to put the whole bowl of sugar on top of the wheat bix to make them palatable. Try this instead. Oh yeah. Now, the first thing we're going to do is warm this baby up. Unfortunately, I've got a foot injury again. I can't really ride, and I am sort of a little bit worried that I can't even support the weight of the bike. It's my left foot. So I'm going to just put it in the driveway and warm it up, and probably that'll be enough. So why do we warm up a bike before an oil change? I think it is for a couple of reasons. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think reason number one is the oil heats up and it makes it thinner, so therefore it flows out easier. And I also think on this type of engine, the oil settles to the bottom of the crankcase, and we want it to go up higher so that it can flow out easier. So therefore we get it circulating through the engine. Otherwise we're going to leave some old oil in there, I think. So hopefully I don't really need to go for a ride. I've never really not ridden it first. So hopefully just letting it idle in the driveway is sufficient to warm it up. I'll wait till the sun comes out from behind the clouds. I'll put it in the sun. That should help it along also. No, that's stupid, but that's what I'm going to do anyway. Our supporter gear, our merchandise, that which keeps the channel going. It's not going to save you in a slide, but gee, you're going to look cool wearing it. T-shirts, singlets, caps, stickers, patches, hoodies, beanies, t-shirts like this one with a bit of embroidery, or big Larry logos. Choose what you like, support the channel and reaffirm that you've still got it. I forgot to mention, check out the exchange rate. If you're in the United States or in Europe, the Australian dollar has absolutely been decimated. So you're merchandise and postage for bargain prices. Right, let's check this foot out. I've got to do all this in socks. I can't get my shoe on my left foot, it's too swollen. That's why I'm not riding. Right, we're ready to go. The bike has been idling for 15 minutes. That can't be good for it. What did they used to say on the Beverly Hillbillies? Black gold, Texas tea. Check it out. Now this will help. There we go. Doesn't look that clean to me. So therefore, I'm going to conclude. All right, so tell me if this is right or wrong. This oil doesn't look clean to me at all. The leaking oil looks clean, so therefore that's coming out of the primary. I think it's time to put that plug back in.
So you wanna go to a new dimension? And you wanna gaze into a mirror, mirroring a diamond shape of your soul. Wanna hear music sounding like the roar of thunder? Do you wanna lose all control? Then you got a dream.
Here's what's annoying about this. I wanted to replace this rubber seal. I go to the Harley shop to get some oil, and from memory I remembered there was a little rubber O-ring in here, so I wanted one of these as well, and they said nah, there's not one in here. I wasn't sure if my memory was playing tricks, but I did remember that it doesn't look like it's in fantastic condition. It sort of looks like bits of it are coming off, so I wanted to replace it, but as I said, Harley Davidson said to me that there's no such thing. But there is. Here it is on video. Everybody, the video is my witness. I was right. Isn't it good when you're right? So who can tell me, so put in the comments if you know why or what went wrong. I did say to the guy behind the counter, it is a little rubber O-ring that sits behind the derby cover. He wasn't so sure, so he looked it up, and the diagram that he looked up did not show that at all, or what I thought was that O-ring was listed as the gasket. So now here's another possibility. This is the new gasket, which is very different to that one, and I can't remember if I put that there or whether it was already there, but this one covers everything, so maybe they don't have that O-ring anymore because this is a different type of gasket. It goes like that.
Wanna hear music?
There we go.
Sounding like the roar of thunder.
Oh, look at this. We have a little bit of metal on it. The question is, so this must be magnetic. So the question is, for all you mechanics, is that a dangerous amount? Not dangerous. It's not like, ow, fuck. It's got ow. Now that, look at that blood. Who's a vampire? I was under the impression that a little bit of metal is okay, but not too much. Now, is that too much or is that an okay amount? That looks pretty clean. All right, now this is clean. And what was interesting was, I think this is where the leak's coming from. It's not even clean, is it? Look at that. Nearly clean. I think there were traces of thread seal tape on it. So I think I will put some more on. Don't think there's an O-ring. This is a tapered screw, not screw, whatever it is, tapered plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the thread sealer very close to the bottom so that if it does disintegrate, I'm not going to destroy, it's not going to get in to the primary case. So I put this in last time and it seemed to do well and better than whatever was in the primary before I bought the bike. So I'm going to put this in again. How does this go? Like that. So I believe that is the correct level. I don't know how well you can see that. Towards clutch. Can't be any easier than that. Arrow pointing up. This is easy as. Whoops. What do we got here? Rightio, time to fill it up with some oil, and it always astounds me that people get this wrong. I'm not talking about the motorcycle, I'm talking about you that's watching this. Everybody takes such great care of their Harleys. They go to the trouble of taking them to an expert just to do an oil change. They go to the trouble of finding out whether this oil is better than that oil, and they argue all day long about which oil is best. Now, of course, when it comes to their own body, they don't put in as much effort because the whole of the Western world is eating too much omega-6 fatty acids compared to omega-3. Both of those are essential fatty acids. In other words, your body can't make them, you need to get them from an outside source, but the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is supposed to be around about even, because too much omega-6 actually creates inflammation in the body. And they say that the typical Western diet has a ratio of around 10 or 20 to 1. So that's 10 or 20 times more omega-6 than is required, or that you're supposed to have, compared to omega-3. Now, people run around and say, well, therefore you should eat more like what I had for breakfast so that your omega-3s go up, and that balances out the inflammation. But that is crap. Just eat less omega-6. Omega-6 comes from processed seed oils that they pretty much put into every type of processed food there is, and that's poison for your body. If you look up the origin of seed oils, it's an industrial lubricant. Some smart dudes sat around a boardroom table and said, hey, how do we get rid of all this junk? How do we get rid of this poison for free? Somebody at the back put up their hand and said, let's feed it to the sheep in the population. Sheep being people, not actual sheep. They want to feed it to us because we're going to pay for it in our food. And of course, that turns us into fat slobs and then we all die early. Don't let that happen to you. Just eat less processed food. We don't want to waste any drops, do we? Look at this. Get those last drops out. Now, does this mean I am thrifty, or am I just stupid wasting time to get those last little drops of oil into the bike? Now, it takes 3 quarts from memory, so that's 3 of these bottles. I'll whack 2 in and then I will have a look down the hole, see what I can see. Now, that is probably too full, but I am guessing that when I turn this bike on and let it idle for a bit, it's going to be okay. All right, you won't be able to see that, I don't think. but it is much lower now.
Control. That you got a dream. That you got a dream.
Now, you're supposed to fill these up to the bottom of this, which is about right. Job's done. Put in the comments, do you do this yourself or do you take it to a dealer, and why? The sun's coming out. I'm crying because I can't ride. Now, if you like today's video, you're gonna love these two videos that I link up here that show you how to make this bike much more rideable than standard for not much money at all. See you next week.
Feel like you were never really here, yet it's time to leave. That you got a dream.